So in this video, we're going to look at angles around a point. These are all the various type of examples we're going to cover that you could face in an exam. So this video is split into 5 parts. Part 1, we're going to look at simple examples of angles around a point like these ones. Then we're going to move on to looking at 3 angles around a point, and then 4 angles around a point. And then we're going to look at angles at different parts along the line at different points. So there's an angle here at one point, and there's an angle here, for example, at one point. And finally, we're going to move on to looking at slightly harder examples where you've got 2 lines cutting through each other and you need to use your knowledge of angles in a straight line. So the way my videos work, I'm going to do the example on the left, which is ID. You're then going to press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper and work with me. So with angles around a point, what you do want to remember is that angles around any given point like that one there add up to 360. So angles around this point here add up to 360. So if you want to find out what x is, we are just going to simply do 360, take away 250, and that gives us 110 degrees. Just remember your degree symbol. So press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So hopefully the exact same way, do 360 minus 290, that gave you 70 degrees. Moving on, so you can also look at these in slightly different orientations. So this one's slightly slanted, but it's the exact same concept. It's still an angle around the point, so that's going to be 360. Take away 110, that gives us 250 degrees. Again, press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So that's going to give us 360, take away 130, which is 230. So now with this one, you might be wondering, well, there's no angle given. How do I find x? Now that angle, that symbol there, when it's drawn like this, so that there is a right angle, and a right angle is 90 degrees, okay? So they will not write that on for you. So in this case, that is 90 degrees. So in order to find x, you do 360, take away 90 degrees, and that gives you 270 degrees. And it's the exact same with the one on the right. The only reason I've put the example on the right is because I'm just showing you in a different orientation. It can also be given in this kind of orientation, but you've just got to remember that this symbol here is the right angle, okay? So it's the exact same answer because it's the exact same working out. So moving on. Now we've got 3 points, but again, it's the exact same concept. We've still got a point in the center. Angles around this point still add up to 360. So we are first going to add the 2 angles up. So that's going to be 130 plus 130, which is going to be 260 degrees. And now in order to find x, we're just going to take that away from 360. And that gives us x as 100 degrees. Again, press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So that's 110 plus 120, which is 230 degrees. And then we're going to do 360, take away 230, which gives us 130 degrees. Again, in a slightly different orientation, the exact same concept. So 135 plus 80, that gives us 215 degrees. And then we have 360, take away 215, and that gives us x as 145. So again, press pause and have a go at this. So that's 120 plus 125, which is 245 degrees. And 360, take away 245, that gives us 115 degrees. So again, coming back to that right angle now that we saw earlier, so it might look like again that there's something missing here. So if it does help you, just write it on. So that is 90 right there. So with this one, it's going to be 155 plus 90. And that is going to give us 205, and then 360 take away 205 is going to give us 155 degrees there. So moving on to the one on the right, so press pause and have a go, and that is going to be 70 plus 90, and that gives us 160 there. And that's going to be 360, take away 160, and that is 200 degrees. So now you've got four angles around one point, but it's the exact same concept we've been looking at before. So that is going to be 128 plus 62 plus 75, and that gives us 265 degrees. And then that's going to be 360, take away 265, which gives us 95 degrees. And with the next one, again, hopefully press pause and go at this. So that's 42 plus 78 plus 164, and that gives us 284 degrees. That's going to be 360, take away 284, that gives us 76 degrees. So now we've got multiple angles at different points along the same line, but again, it's the exact same concept. So we've got this point here, angles around this point, add up to 360, and then we've got this point here, angles around this point, also add up to 360. Okay, they're two separate points, so we can just write, working out for x here, it's going to be straightforward, so that's a 360, take away 239, which is a 121 degrees. And then for y, again, you can write the 90 on if it helps. That's going to be 154 plus 90, which is going to be 244. And that's going to be 360, take away 244, that's 116 degrees. Again, press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So we then have x, we can start with x, so 125 plus 55, oh sorry, forgot d33, plus 33 is equal to 213 degrees, and then 360, take away 213, gives me 147 degrees, and then for y, we have 130 plus 42, which gives us 172, and then we have 360, take away 172, which gives us 188. Now, it might not look like this is 188, which it doesn't look like it is, because it looks like it's less than 180, but these diagrams are not drawn to scale. So in the exam, you'll normally have a note in a box at the top that says not drawn to scale. So yeah, these aren't drawn to scale, so don't need to measure them. So moving on. Again, this might look a little bit out of the blue. This is why I've purposely put these slightly difficult examples in, but it's the exact same concept. There's still angles around a point that add up to 360. So in order to find x, it's going to be 360, take away 337, and that's 23 degrees. And for y, that's going to be 360, take away 33, which is 327 degrees. Again, press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So I'm going to start with x. That's 360, take away 48. So that's going to be 312 degrees. And then with y, we have 360, take away 135, which is 225 degrees. And then with z, we have 107 plus 148, which is 255. And then we have 360, take away 255, which is 105 degrees. And our angles on this line, so if you have a straight line with arrows at the end, that means it's a straight line, okay? And now what you remember with straight lines is that angles on a straight line at a point add up to 180, okay? So that means that this side of the line adds up to 180, and that means this side of the straight line adds up to 180, and these two, of course, add up to give you 360, okay? So now, how do you find x? Now remember, angles on a straight line, so this is a straight line. Angles on a straight line add up to 180, so I know if this is 77, in order to find x, I'm just going to do 180 take away 77, okay? So that's going to be 180 take away 77, and that's 103 degrees. I have got a separate video on angles on a straight line. I'll link that just now. That is 32, take away that, and that is 148. So again, it was the exact same concept at the bottom. This is a straight line. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. So if this is 32, y is going to be 180 take away 32, okay? Now just to check that for your own benefit, you can add this, 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 and this, and they will all add up to 360, okay? Because angles around a point add up to 360. Now, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at the example on the right. Now, this might look a bit off-putting, and I've purposely done it like this because the straight line is at an angle, but it is still a straight line. Okay, that is still a straight line. This side adds up to 180. This side adds up to 180. So to find x, we are simply going to do 180, take away 56, which is 124. And to find y, we are going to do 180, take away 26, which is 154 degrees. So moving on, again with this one, I'm not going to go into the concept some of you may be familiar with of vertically opposite angles. We're not going to use that. So in this case, if you're trying to find x, y, and z, and you're not too sure where to start, the first thing you can look at is the angle is 48. It's got two straight lines passing through it. And remember, with straight lines, what do I say? So, for example, with this straight line, you know that this side adds up to 180, and you know that this side adds up to 180. And then you also got this straight line where this side adds up to 180 and this side adds up to 180. So straight away, you can pick either line to start with. You can either start with this line or this line. The only angle we've got is 48, so we're going to have to start with something to do with this. So if I look at this line here, right, I know this is 48, and this line adds up to 180. So to find Z, I'm going to do 180, take away 48. Now you could have also started this in a slightly different way. You could have gone down this line and looked at these two and said, well, X is going to be 180, take away 48, because this side of the line is 48. So in fact, we'll start with X. It doesn't really matter which one you start with. You'll end up with the exact same answer. So we have X is 180, take away 48, which is 132 degrees. So you now have X. And we can now use that to find Y. So just to point that out, this is a straight line. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. If this is 132, this must be 180, take away 132, since it's a straight line. Okay, so Y is going to be 180, take away X, which is 132, and that is 48 degrees. And finally, Z. So you can you can find out X using either line, Z, using either line, but I'll use this one here. So we know Y, we just found Y to be 48. So this must be 180, take away 48 to get Z. So if I do 180, take away 48, it's good, 132 degrees. Okay, so now hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at the example on the right. So again, you want to start with looking at the straight lines, and you can just imagine like that straight line there, that adds up to 180. There's a straight line there, that adds up to 180. Now the problem with this side is I don't really know what X is. And let me just do that again. I don't know what X is, and I don't know what Y is, so I can't really use that. And if I was to try to go this way, I know what this is. That's 90, that's 48, and I can use that to find Y. So you can either start this way, with this has 90, which you know, it's a right angle. This has 48, so all you need to do is find Y now, which you can do. Or you can start with this line, where you can find X using 180, take away 48. Okay, so the reason I'm telling you this is because there's more than one way you can start. But I'm going to start with finding X, so that's going to be 180, take away 48, and that is 132 degrees. That's 132. And I'm going to find Z by using X, so that's going to be this straight line there. So that means Z is going to be 180, take away 132, so let's take away that. So 180, take away 132 is equal to 48 degrees. And then finally, to find Y, I need to know that that is 90. So I can even find Y using this line here now, because I know what Z is. So I know Z is 48, I know that is 90, so I know that Y is going to be 180, take away the sum of 90 and 45. So for Y, we can do 90 plus 48, which is 138 degrees. And then do 360. 180, take away 138, and that gives you 42 degrees. So this was a slightly more trickier example. So here are now some practice questions for you to have a go at on everything we covered. So press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answers. Here are the answers. Mark your work. So just to make a point on this very last one, again, you could have started it in many different ways, but I started it with finding X because I knew what this was. So that gave me X, and then once I had X, I then used that to find Y, and then once I had that, I then used that to find Z, okay, and so on and so forth. And that covers all sorts of examples that you could face in an exam around angles around a point. So hopefully you found that video useful. I've got loads of other content like this on my YouTube channel, so please head over and have a go, and have the rest. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.